A very beautiful day to all of you and welcome back to my channel. Today let's talk about Vijay Tendulkar's play Silence, the Court is in Session. Silence, the Court is in Session. Shantata, Court Chalu hai. Written in 1963, published in 1967. Vijay Tendulkar, 1928-2008. Silence, the Court is in Session. Original title in Marathi, that is Shantata, Court Chalu hai, by Vijay Tendulkar, was written in 1963 and first performed and published in 1967. Silence, the Court is in Session is a socially critical play. The play was inspired by a real-life incident that Tendulkar heard about, where a group of actors staged a mock trial, but the game turned into an attack on a female member of the group. Tendulkar, one of India's most renowned playwrights, was known for his bold and hard-hitting portrayals of social injustice, gender discrimination, and power dynamics. The play serves as a critique of Indian society's patriarchal and hypocritical attitudes, particularly regarding women's autonomy and morality. Summary of the play. The play is centered around a mock trial conducted by an amateur theatre group in a village, but it soon turns into a serious moral and social attack on the protagonist named Leela Benare. Act first, introduction to the theatre group. A group of amateur actors arrives in a village to stage a play. They decided to rehearse a mock trial with Miss Leela Benare, a bald and independent school teacher, as the defendant. The mood is initially light-hearted and playful, but as the trial progresses, the group begins to reveal their personal biases and grievances against Benare. Act second, the mock trial becomes personal. The charge against Benare is infanticide, that means killing an unborn child. Though this is part of the rehearsal, the accusations soon become shockingly real, exposing Benare's personal life. The audience learns that Benare is pregnant out of wedlock and her lover, that is Professor Damal, has abandoned her. The group, instead of showing sympathy, shames her and humiliates her, reflecting society's double standards. Act 3. The verdict and Benare's silent cry. The trial ends with the verdict against Benare, treating her as a criminal. Though the actors insist it was just a game, the emotional and psychological trauma inflicted on Benare is real and devastating. The play ends with Benare's powerful monologue, where she expresses her anguish, frustration, and helplessness against a society that judges and punishes women but never men. She is left broken with no voice or agency, symbolizing the plight of countless women in a patriarchal world. Now let's discuss the characters. First of all, we have the main character, Leela Benare, protagonist, a strong, independent woman working as a school teacher. She is bold, intelligent, and outspoken, challenging traditional norms. She has a secret affair with Professor Damal and becomes pregnant. Next character is the society, represented by the theatre group, turns against her, exposing its hypocrisy and misogyny. The next character is Professor Damel, absent but a significant character. A highly respected intellectual but a moral coward who abandons Benna. Though he is equally responsible for Benna's situation, he faces no consequences. The next character, Samant. Samant is a naive and innocent villager who is unaware of the group's intentions. He initially sympathizes with Benna, but ultimately remains silent like the rest of society. The next character, Kashikar and Mrs. Kashikar. Kashikar is the self-proclaimed judge representing society's rigid moral code. Mrs. Kashikar reinforces patriarchal ideas, showing that even women contribute to gender oppression. Next characters, Pongshe, Rockday, Shukatme, and a Karnik. They represent different aspects of society, from jealousy to hypocrisy. They mock and judge Benna, but ignore their own moral failures. Now let's talk about the themes in this drama. Patriarchal oppression and gender discrimination. Leela Benna is shamed and humiliated, while Professor Damel, the man responsible for everything, remains untouched. The play critiques how society policies women's morality but forgives men's actions. Next theme is hypocrisy of society. The characters pretend to uphold moral values, but they are flawed and selfish themselves. They take pleasure in judging others, exposing society's double standards. Silence and the lack of female agency. Despite being educated and independent, Benna has no power over her fate. The title, that is Silence, the Court is in Session, reflects how women's voices are silenced. Psychological and emotional violence. Though there is no physical violence, Benna is emotionally tortured by the group. This reflects how mental abuse can be just as damaging as physical harm. Social stigma and the role of women. Benna's story shows how unmarried pregnant women are ostracized, while men face no repercussions. The play questions whether marriage and motherhood should define a woman's worth. The setting of the work. The play takes place in a village courtroom setting, which is actually a makeshift rehearsal space. This setting symbolizes society itself, where people act as moral judges, condemning others while hiding their own flaws. Criticism and analysis. A bold feminist play. Silence, the Court is in Session is one of India's earliest feminist plays, exposing deep-seated misogyny. It challenges gender roles and the societal treatment of women. Realistic and hard-hitting. Unlike romanticized depictions of women, Leela Benna's struggles is raw and real. The play mirrors real-life injustices, making it emotionally impactful. Experimental use of a play within a play. The mock trial becomes real, blurring the line between performance and reality. This innovative technique makes the social critique more powerful. Silence is a powerful metaphor. The word silence in the title reflects how women's voices are suppressed. Even Bena's final monologue is ignored, showing how society refuses to listen to women's pain. A reflection of Indian society. Even though the play was written in 1967, its theme remains relevant today, making it a timeless work. It challenges the morality of a society that it judges women more harshly than men. Now let's talk about the most important lines from this play. First one. What right has society to punish an individual for his or her natural instincts? It's spoken by Leela Bena. Context and a meaning that is, in a moment of defiance, Bena questions the hypocrisy of social morality, challenging how society condemns personal desires, especially women's, while glorifying men's freedom. The next line. The child is not a bastard, society is the bastard. It is spoken by Leela Bena. Bena boldly asserts her moral strength, condemning the social system that shames unwanted mothers while ignoring men's irresponsibility. This line captures the play's feminist rebellion. Silence, the court is in session. The speaker is Samant. Other mock court members. Initially a line in the mock trial, it becomes an ironic refrain highlighting how the mock court turns into a real trial against the Bena, symbolizing society's oppressive judgment. The next line. A woman's character is her husband's property. The speaker is Shukatme, that is the lawyer in the mock trial. Spoken mockingly, yet revealing real patriarchal belief, this line exposes how women's identity and morality are controlled by male-defined standards in an Indian society. The next line. I wanted to live and I wanted to love. The speaker is Leela Bena, a poignant confession that reveals Bena's deep humanity and a longing for emotional fulfillment, contrasting with the cruel moral policing of those around her. The next line. We are all acting a play within a play. The speaker is Mr. Pongshe. This meta-theatrical statement reflects Tendulkar's structural brilliance, showing how social behavior itself is a performance where people hide a cruelty behind responsibility. The next line. Your own life has been one long fraud. The speaker is Leela Bena, spoken to her colleagues. Bena lashes out at her hypocritical fellow teachers, revealing how each hides moral weakness while ganging up to destroy a woman's reputation. The next line. The law is not a respecter of persons. The speaker is Sukatme. Ironically stated by the lawyer, this line mocks the false objectivity of the law, showing how justice is a patriarchal society is biased and manipulative. The next line. It is easy to judge others when you have nothing to lose. The speaker is Leela Bena. Bena exposes the cruelty of moral judgment, how those who live comfortably enjoy condemning others without empathy or understanding. The next line. My teaching was my life. My students were my world. The speaker is Leela Bena. This heartfelt line expresses Bena's true passion for teaching and the innocence of intention, emphasizing how society destroys a sincere woman for her personal choices rather than her professional worth.